Welcome to Tap Water Talks. So happy you're here for our second strategic conversation of our most precious resource, water. My name is Evelyn Wendel, and I'm the founding director of WeTap.org, a nonprofit focused on healthy access to safe and dependable public drinking water. It's that time of year when we are focused on family and friends and celebrating the holidays. But these are difficult times, tough times, and boy, do we need community and family right about now. So today we're gathered to calm fears and to help us all feel more comfortable and safe at home. We all live with the interconnectivity of public health and civic management, the ability to provide public, potable, drinkable water is the foundation of every major civilization ever known. Today, we want to look at how we handle and think about our water on a daily basis in our homes and in our communities and the opportunities for improvement. Let's get started. Joining us for today's conversation are three highly respected experts in public water and public health. Please meet Daffodil Robles, who's an integral part of the Water Quality Division at the largest public utility in the nation, the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, LADWP. Hi, Daffodil.
Hi, Evelyn. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And Derrick Leong is also from LADWP. Derrick is a supervising water quality inspector. He's an experienced lab technician who can explain water quality inspections and lab testing for us today. Thank you, Derrick, for joining us. And
Thanks,
always first and foremost is our education and public health communities. MaryJane Puffer is the executive director of the Los Angeles Trust for Children's Health, a nonprofit that provides best practices, research, and programs to support school-based healthcare, including the Los Angeles Unified School District's Wellness Network. I also understand you're a nurse, right, MaryJane?
Yes.
Wow.
Pediatrics.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you all for joining us today. Who here drinks tap water?
I do.
Public water is the foundation for everything we do, from business to culture to education and to health. Where does our water in Los Angeles come from, and how does it get to us?
LADWP has a very diversified water supply portfolio to ensure a reliable supply of water. We have imported water that comes from the Eastern Sierras via the LA Aqueduct, and we also have purchased water from MWD. They get their water from the Bay Delta via the California Aqueduct and also from the Colorado River. And we also have local water supplies, which include groundwater and recycled water. And at any time, we may use a different combination of these sources depending on availability and need. And after the water is treated, it travels through an extensive network of pipes to serve our customers. We have over 7,300 miles of pipes in our distribution system.
Is the water we receive in our homes all the same water for everyone in the city of Los Angeles?
For the most part, all of our customers within the LADWP service area receives the same high quality water from the LA Aqueduct filtration plant. And in some areas, water from the LA filtration plant is blended with local groundwater supplies. Either way, water is tested to make sure it meets regulatory standards, and all the water that our customers receive is the same in the sense that we ensure the water we serve is high quality.
Is the water at our home safe to drink?
The water we provide is treated at our Los Angeles Aqueduct filtration plant, which makes it safe to drink. During the last step of the treatment process, it involves adding a disinfectant called chloramine to keep it safe to drink as it travels through thousands of miles of pipes to get to our customers. To ensure it meets stringent regulatory requirements, we test the water along several points of our distribution system. So we test for over 220 constituents, and we conduct over 124,000 tests for samples taken throughout the distribution system annually.
Our water travels far and was treated very carefully before we turn on the faucet. Every time we turn on the tap, we must recognize how truly amazing it is that we can turn on the tap. Public health is a key element of any water conversation, and keeping our communities protected is why public utilities and public health have such a profound and interconnected relationship. What is public health, and why is the relationship to public water so important and so unique?
The three main tenets of public health are really protection, prevention, and promotion. And so, like, really protecting the health and safety of the population, looking at data and surveillance. Like, if we think about COVID right now, it's really monitoring a system of disease, surveillance, and intervention. So, like, that piece would apply to public water. For instance, community water fluoridation would be a way public health is applied in this context. And promotion of healthy habits, meaning drinking water, staying healthy, mental health, oral health, emotional health is all part of that prevention and promotion of those messages. But in this case, it's about promoting tap water, which is really critical to a person's health and wellness. I mean, economic wellness is another piece of wellness. And when we see families and communities, specifically communities that have low level of resources, low income, potentially crowded housing, et cetera, the economic expenditure around bottled water, demijohns of water is really a misuse of funding for families that could otherwise be educated about the benefits of drinking tap water. So that is, in a nutshell, I think, the concept of how public health applies to this conversation.
Why is public water dependent on public health?
Public health regulations is really designed to protect the public. So if at any point the water is unsafe to drink, we have to comply with a regulation to notify the public that their water may be unsafe. So as I've mentioned before, our water complies with strict regulatory requirements that we have to meet, and that is to protect the public.
What is fluoride? It's an element that exists naturally in our water supplies, right? Why is it so important to have fluoride levels regulated? Can you please discuss fluoride, maybe some history of it and why it is safe?
Fluoride, it naturally occurs in LADWP water. So we dose it with fluoride to achieve a target level of 0.7 milligrams per liter of fluoride for our surface water and our groundwater. It's the same for the water we purchase from MWD. So that target level is safe for our customers, and it's also deemed as beneficial for them as well.
We're very vested in oral health. Fluoride actually strengthens the tooth enamel. So families and communities, again, who are under-resourced, who maybe can't even afford to purchase toothpaste, fluoride in the water is actually a preventative tool and is hailed as one of the most significant public health actions in the last century. There's over 70 years of research that shows that it's safe, especially when it's monitored at levels like you talked about, Derrick. There's a small fraction of people that are really concerned about fluorosis, but again, at the levels that are monitored, like 0.7 parts per million, right, Derrick, is super safe for people. Studies that have been published around fluorosis, a lot of that had to do with children actually swallowing the toothpaste. It's really important for parents to monitor their children. They need to start brushing their teeth and, having their teeth taken care of even before they come in. Literally, dental exams before you are age 1 is now very much recommended. But this piece of parents really monitoring their children while they are brushing their teeth is really critical. It avoids that issue of fluorosis at all. And the other thing I'm going to say about that is, in terms of toothpaste, you only need a small pea drop of toothpaste on the toothbrush. You don't need to coat the brush or anything. Nobody needs to do that.
How do we test for fluoride in our water in Los Angeles?
We do have different sample points throughout the city. So before the water is actually delivered to our customers, we do sample for various constituents, one of those being fluoride.
Thank goodness for experts in public health who help keep us safe and educated. And thank goodness for the responsible public utilities such as LADWP, who provide us with the most important safety net and security, water. Safe, clean, reliable water at our homes is something we must appreciate. There are over 2.2 million children living in the county of Los Angeles, and there are over 600,000 children in the LA Unified School District. Empowering children to give them tools to grow healthy and strong and to be stewards of themselves and our community environments is all our goals, right? What are the public health tools for children to have, to follow along with in their minds, in their hearts, to better grasp and take ownership of how important our public water supply is to their health and safety and for our collective communities?
I'll use alliteration for this because we're talking about P, public health. Prevention, promotion, protection are very important, but parents are really important. So parent education, I think, around the health and safety of water is really critical. How a parent behaves is how a child is going to model. So I think this is a critical component about public health. We've done a lot of work with parents around oral health protection, but there still is some hesitancy around drinking tap water in some communities. And I think the parent education is critical. Again, we talked in the beginning about economically, it's probably not feasible for families with very low income to buy bottled water. There's also the incidence of potential BPA in plastic. And the other item here is that water is calorie free. Water is healthy. We need it to improve our blood circulation. If a parent or family was upset or concerned about tap water and they wanted to use a filter, Dr. Cabezas, who's the dental director for LA County, always says, if you are not 100% feeling safe about tap water, cook with it, boil it. And also, if you need a filter, use a Brita, because that actually lets fluoride come through. So any harmful chemicals in a filter would be filtered through. What we're talking about here is it's totally safe. So we need to make sure that families have that kind of education. And beyond parents, I think peers is the other P that's really critical. So teens, educating other teens about the importance of drinking water, the safety of tap water is really critical. And with the LA Trust, the student advisory board members did a TikTok video around drinking water and staying healthy during this time of COVID. And they literally tossed water to each other on the video and screens, like no calories, safe to drink, good for your circulation, healthy for your mind, all of this. So I think in the education with parents and peers, this is critical for children to both learn from parents and peers, but also see the modeling behavior.
It's also providing access to drinking tap water, clean drinking tap water. So we are making it available throughout the city. Making tap water accessible throughout the city is very important. So children are aware that there's tap water available for them to drink, and they're not limited by financial resources of having to purchase bottled water per se, just to gain access to that drinking water. I think definitely improving accessibility is important, and it keeps children aware that tap water is there for them.
I think the city did a great job when they are releasing the tap water trucks for community events. I think that's a great example of how to promote tap water. And accompanying the truck is the drop. So it's a little character. And I think that engaged children. It engaged children at the Tooth Fairy convention. And the water was delicious. I mean, hands down. I think that those kinds of promotional activities are really critical for children and families in LA.
I love that, because that tap water truck was unveiled on Tap Water Day.
It was great.
We're getting more, right?
That's the plan.
Awesome. What recommendations can you give to those who might want to study water, public health, education, find their careers, or simply become powerful and effective stewards of our water and our public environments?
There are so many career opportunities with the water utility. If you want a career in water, really good place to start is to get an education in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. This plays a significant role in obtaining a career at LADWP, especially as a water engineer, a laboratory analyst, such as a chemist or microbiologist, and even a biologist, environmental specialist, hydrographer. Careers at LADWP is not just limited to the STEM. There's also career opportunities such as with communications and public affairs, administrative positions, and many more. And if there's ever any interest to work for a water utility, it's a good idea to go on the LA City Personnel website where they can find various career options.
I think that there's so many opportunities now for young people who are in high school. Like, we have student advisory boards and they're health advisors. So they're trained in public health and they run campaigns on their campuses. But that's an opportunity for them to also set up their resume for a future in public health. And those opportunities are pretty vast these days for young people. So that's exciting.
How can the public health community help these efforts with education and health programs supporting an inclusive and expanding tap water narrative?
I feel like this question is about really a robust communications plan. And I think you've done a great job, Evelyn, with WeTap. But an army of 1+ needs to have the entire public health community behind you. So when we are looking at communication plans, I know DWP does some work, but really maybe the opportunity to work with young people about defining those campaigns and have them set the messaging, I think is important too. And I love the app.
I appreciate it. It's going to be coming out soon with new features too. I'm very excited for 2021. The nexus of public health, education, and our civic partnerships is what keeps us moving forward. And forward is the right direction to go. Public health and civic management allows us to progress as individuals and as a society. Since we always need to keep public health goals front and center, those close relationships between public health, public safety, and education is complex and always evolving. Can you please discuss some of the concerns people have, such as odor, color, and taste of our drinking water, and what might be factors behind this phenomena?
So typically, the high quality water that we serve to our customers is clear and colorless as it comes out of their tap. At times, though, our customers may have a different experience when they turn on their tap. So when they do, LADWP has a dedicated team to specifically address water quality related inquiries, and that's my team, the Water Quality Customer Care Group. We receive various types of calls about the water. Some of the most common inquiries are about taste and odor and discolored water. Taste and odor issues, they may be caused by various reasons. Stagnant water in the pipe may have a strong chlorinous odor, which is caused by the chloramine reacting with the organic matter that may be present. Inquiries regarding odor issues may even be unrelated to the water. For example, a customer may be concerned that the water smells bad when actually the odor is coming from the drain. Another common inquiry is about discolored water. The most common discolored water inquiry we get is for brown water. The cause of brown water is by rust sediment that's in the water. So rust sediment usually settles down at the bottom of our water mains, and this sediment can cause rusty water if it ever gets stirred up by a system disturbance, such as a water main break, or it can simply be caused by rusty piping in our customers' plumbing. And we also have customers who may ask us why their water appears white when they fill a glass from their tap. In these instances, it's really just air bubbles that's in the water that gives it this appearance. If you let the glass sit for about a minute, the air bubbles will slowly dissipate and the water should be clear.
That's so good to know. Thank you, Derrick. What is hard water?
Water hardness is a measure of the dissolved minerals in the water. So these minerals, they consist primarily of calcium and magnesium. So hard water is high in dissolved minerals. If your water is hard, you may notice water spots on your dishes after they dry. Water hardness can vary depending on the source of the supply. So typically, groundwater and purchased water from MWD is harder.
How can we empower ourselves to do what we can to keep our drinking water safe while continuing to build the trust and respect for our tap water?
If there's ever any questions, I know we keep going back to this, but if there's ever any questions regarding tap water quality, the first place to really look is to look at a website or go to the source that has accurate and factual information. The information on the LADWP website is accurate and factual. We strive to be transparent with our water quality information, and we comply with the regulatory standards, which allows us to keep our water supply permit. So all that information is available on our website. And as Derrick mentioned earlier, we have a team that addresses water quality inquiries directly, and that's the water quality customer care team. So if there's any apprehension, please reach out to us and we're here to help.
I'm going to ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
What about water testing kits? I had one a long time ago. Do you still distribute those?
It's hard to say that those at-home water testing kits are necessarily reliable because our testing often involves calibrating equipment and making sure that our results are reliable. So that involves using standards, and I can't speak to water quality test kits for the home use. If you do have an inquiry regarding your water quality at home, we do have a service where Derrick's team will come out and test your water at home.
I'm good, but that was a question that I thought comes up every once in a while.
What kind of test kits are they to test for what exactly?
You know, I can't tell you. It's like years ago. And over the course of time with families and schools and so on, the question of home test kits for water safety comes up. But I'm with you. You don't know what the reliability is or whatnot, and you want it to be accurate and reliable. So rely on DWP.
Correct. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. The historic legacy, the awe-inspiring accomplishment of getting fresh and clean water to all of us is unparalleled and among the most important work being done for all of us to thrive. What more can we say to those who do not trust our tap water and trust commercial water? Do we really need to buy bottled water? I don't think so.
So to answer the first part of your question, a lot goes into ensuring that the water that we at LADWP serve is high quality, right? So we strive to be water strong. We routinely test samples throughout our distribution system, and we test the water to make sure it meets the strict regulatory requirements. We stay transparent with information regarding water quality, and information is available in our annual water quality report and on our website. And we're here always to answer any customer inquiries related to water quality. LADWP is currently partnering with other city departments and soon to be non-city entities to improve accessibility to tap water through the installation of hydration stations throughout our service area. At these hydration stations, or conventionally drinking water fountains, are equipped with a bottle filling mechanism to allow people to refill their reusable water bottles. We will be distributing guidelines on how to store tap water for emergency use. So because of these options, customers feel confident that in the water that LADWP serves.
Do we really need to buy bottled water? What do you think?
No, I would say tap water is safe and reliable and should be a resource that everyone should be using.
Are there any other ideas you wish to speak about now or parting words you'd like us to remember?
Some parting words is that we're just very thankful for having ambassadors such as you, Evelyn, who speak highly of tap water, and you're very instrumental in ensuring the public that our tap water is safe to drink. So we thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor.
And I will say too that I think at all levels of health and wellness, like really promoting tap water as a life-saving, life-giving resource for people is really critical. Thank you to also Evelyn for what you do on this level.
Thank you, LADWP. I heart LADWP. The conversation about our drinking water is complex, and we have just poured a drop, but drops add up. Let's continue this conversation. The WeTap app, which allows us to map and locate public drinking fountains, is coming to all platforms, including your computer. The WeTap iPhone app is available now. Try it. Tap water and the Sublime public drinking fountain are solutions to single-use plastic waste while improving public health, economic, and social disparity. Become a tap water ambassador, a protector of our drinking water, learn more about our dependable public water supply, and help improve access at public environments by using the WeTap app and paying attention to where public drinking fountains are and where they need to go. Let us know. We need to work together with our schools, our water utilities, and listen to our health educators to understand, engage, and inspire our communities to join the conversation. We're going to transition now to answer a few questions that came to us from students. We hope to answer all your questions about water, so please keep them coming. First student question: where does our water come from? This is from Sierra, 14-year-old student.
We have various sources of water at LADWP. We have imported water from the Eastern Sierras. We also have used MWD water, who get their water from the California Aqueduct and the Colorado River. We also have groundwater supplies, which are local and use recycled water.
Does our water in Los Angeles have minerals? This is from Inchi.
The water in Los Angeles, it does have minerals in it. These are all naturally occurring minerals. Some of the most common ones are calcium and magnesium, which contribute to the hardness of your water.
How does lead get into our drinking water? This is a question from Mary, a 14-year-old student.
Lead can sometimes enter our drinking water through most commonly older piping or older plumbing systems, and also faucet fixtures that may have impurities in the metals. So there may be small amounts of lead in a faucet fixture, and as the water stays stagnant, the lead can possibly leach into the water.
Is there any way to resolve issues with lead?
The most simplest way of reducing the amount of lead in the water, if we know that it's coming from the faucet fixture, the solution would be to replace that fixture. And another solution, a temporary fix immediately, would be to flush the water at that faucet and to lower the amount of lead in the water. So bringing in fresh water will drastically reduce the amount of lead in the water.
This is another student question. How do we know it's safe to drink certain water or unsafe to drink certain water? Is there any way to tell? This is from Sophie. She's a 14-year-old student.
If you're uncertain whether or not the water is safe to drink from a faucet or from a water fountain, the best solution would be to flush the water so that any sort of contaminants in the water gets flushed out, and you bring in fresh water so that you reduce the likelihood of consuming anything that's unsafe.
Question number 5. Why is fluoride good in water, and what are the benefits? This is from Clark.
Well, I can say that fluoride is a naturally occurring mineral in water, and it is regulated by the Department of Water and Power here, DWP, in Los Angeles. And it actually is really healthy for your teeth. So it actually helps to build protective enamel. So your level of cavities is reduced when you drink fluoridated water, and you're drinking a low level, a safe level. And I think that's the most important thing to know about fluoride in the water.
How much rat poo is allowed to be in water, and how do they clean it, and how much of it gets left over after they clean it?
What microorganisms are typically found in fecal matter? It's total coliform, right? Or E. coli is what we're concerned about when it comes to drinking water. Our water is exposed to the environment as it travels from the Eastern Sierras or MWD's water sources. If it comes down from the Eastern Sierras, it goes through our filtration plant, which it goes through a UV process to remove any harmful pathogens that may be found in the water, and ozonation process. In the end, before it is served to our customers, we treat it with a disinfectant called chloramine so that the water stays safe and microbe free. So we ensure that it stays in this good, high quality condition because we test the water at various points throughout our distribution system to make sure that there's a chloramine residual even when it gets to our customers. And we also test at specific locations for those microorganisms, total coliform and E. coli as well.
Thank you for tuning in and wanting to learn more about our public drinking water. With all of us and more of us joining these conversations, we are bound to be empowered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.